Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Obviously today's video is very cash based on this thing on my head. If you're wondering about the hat, it is from Madewell, my favorite store of the life. But a couple videos back I did mention that I wanted to do a really casual sit down video, maybe once or twice a month, where I talk about topics that aren't necessarily related to beauty, and basically I wanted you guys to choose those topics and let me know what you wanted me to talk about. So a lot of you guys sent in what you'd like me to talk about, and everything was kind of scattered across the board. There wasn't just like one certain topic, but I did get a couple people who wanted to know more about my opinion on YouTube sponsorships, or what a sponsorship was, or how people are being paid on YouTube. And that's definitely a very hush-hush thing. I know there's a few people that have talked about that openly on YouTube, and I don't really mind to do that. I mean, there's nothing that I feel ashamed to talk about under that topic or under that topic umbrella. And it's definitely something. When I first started YouTube, can I just mention that I did not even know what sponsorship, or I didn't even know you could get paid when I started YouTube. So whenever I started realizing that, I was very curious at the time too. So I know several of you guys in comments previously, whenever I have done sponsored videos, have asked me about that. So I just want to give you guys what the lowdown is, what a sponsorship is, because I think there is some confusion on what sponsorships really are, and my opinion on it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Oh, also, if you want me to name these a certain thing, I mean, I know sometimes people name their topic videos something. If you want me to, I can. I don't really know what I'm going to name this, to be honest. I don't even know if I am going to name this. So the first thing I want to clarify, hands down, when I thought about doing this video, I was like, this is the first thing I have to bring up, is what a sponsorship is. Because a lot of people think just because a brand sends you a ton of products and you use them in your video, that that's a sponsored video. And by no means is a brand sending you products a sponsored video. A sponsored video is solely based around payment. So if a brand is paying you to do a video that, or to talk about their product in the video, that is a sponsored video. So whenever I did my Pacifica video for the holiday season a couple weeks back, I used all Pacifica products, but Pacifica did not compensate me to do that video. That was solely me. I wanted to do that video, and they sent me products to help achieve the look that I was wanting to create. And some people did think that it was sponsored. So basically the way that you should know if a video is sponsored or not is that all content creators on YouTube and even bloggers are supposed to put a disclosure. Now I think it's supposed to be at the top of your video. Some people put it even in the title of their video. If it's a sponsored video, they'll put hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored. That's how you'll know before you even watch if it's sponsored or not. But most of the time people will put a disclosure in their bottom comment section or their info bar, and that will let you know if it is a sponsored video or not. Now, I will say I have watched several sponsored videos where people didn't do that, and that is breaking guidelines. Technically, you are supposed to let people know verbally or in the info bar that your video is being sponsored, or that you're being paid to do a video. So just clear cut right there. If a company sends me products and I use them in my video, that is not sponsored at all. That's just me lucking out, like cashing in on some free products, and I ain't gonna lie, I like when that happens. But no, sponsored videos are literally when you are paid to do a video, to talk about a product in a video, to incorporate some type of influential message in your video on a product or a brand. So what are my thoughts on sponsored videos? Well, obviously I know several of you guys know that I have done sponsored videos. I do a ton of sponsored blog posts, and that's something that I want to bring up too, is that in the blogging community, sponsorships are not frowned upon like they are on YouTube. It's like a totally different world. When someone has a sponsored blog post, it's almost like, I don't know, it's just so much more accepted than it is on YouTube. And I guess it's just because it's a quick read, you know, if it's sponsored, hey, whatever. And whenever you're on YouTube, you know, you're actually sitting here communicating with someone. So I know some people asked about my opinions on sponsored videos. Sponsored videos for me In the beginning, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Like I said, I had no clue that I could even be paid on YouTube. First of all, that's a whole other story. YouTube does pay you for creating content. I had no clue that you could be paid for that. And then on top of that, I had no clue that people would actually reach out to me and want to pay me for talking about something. So when that first happened, my first sponsorship, I want to talk about my first sponsorship because it was actually on my blog. It was not on my YouTube channel. I don't even know what my first sponsored video was, to be honest with you. I'd probably have to go back and look because I really haven't done that many, to be completely honest with you. But I remember my first sponsorship on my blog, and they wanted to pay me $100. Like, I'll just go ahead and say it. It was $100. I was a sophomore in college, and that $100, I looked at that and I was like, are you serious? Like $100? Like, that's gonna pay my groceries for the rest of the week. So immediately I jumped on it, and it was something that was related to my content, but it wasn't something that now whenever I look back on it, I definitely wouldn't go back and redo that. So you kind of live and you learn with the sponsorships. So now I am really selective with the people that I do choose to work with, and basically this is pretty much 99.9% of the time. The only time I will do a sponsored video is if it is a company or network I have worked with in the past. And that is how I normally do sponsored videos. Is I am with several networks. My YouTube network is Style Haul. I don't even think I've done a sponsored video for them, but I have other networks that I've worked with through my blog and things like that. And there are several that are, like, seriously, you guys, the most trustworthy networks that are out there right now. And I'm so fortunate enough that I'm able to be with them and that they are able to bring me content that I would love to talk about, and that it's just a bonus that I'm getting paid to talk about it. And then there's companies who will reach out to you independently that are kind of like, you're like, why are you contacting me? Like, this has nothing to do with my channel. And so I think it's really apparent when you watch sponsored videos, and you can immediately tell if the person was actually into the product or not, or if the person actually has your best interest in thought. And I want to give you guys an example. Just recently, I had agreed to do a sponsored video with a company that I have not been working with as long as my other networks that I trust, but I still trusted this company. And there was a product that they wanted to send me and let me try and then talk about to you guys. So they sent it to me. It was a hair care system. And when I tried it, I gave it a couple tries, but whenever I tried it, it was terrible. And I knew right then and there that my credibility was more important than just, you know, a few $100s and telling you guys that, oh, this is the greatest system ever, you need to go out and buy it. So when that happens, and this rarely happens, I will contact the network or the company and I will say, you know, this didn't work out for me and I cannot, you know, recommend this to someone, because if I go and tell you guys, hey, this was great and I knew it sucked, and you went out and bought it, you would definitely come back to me and you would say, I bought this crap because of you and it sucked and I wasted my money on it. That's just not something consciously that I could go to bed and feel okay with. I knew in my heart that, you know, that certain thing was just crap, and it was just, you know, they were trying to get people just to promote it because it just was crap, basically. And so to answer your question about my opinions on sponsored videos, there's a very thin line and there's a very fine line on doing sponsored videos and doing them correctly and doing them honestly, because I watch some sponsored videos and I can't even tell it's a sponsored video. They are that good with, you know, incorporating the product in and really letting you know, hey, this is what I incorporate in my lifestyle anyways. There's several sponsored videos I've seen where people have used the product before they were even sponsored by the company. And so then you kind of know, like, you know, this is something that people use, or this is something that the person trusts. And I think whenever you guys watch sponsored videos, you should be able to tell that. And I think it's really clear cut when I watch a sponsored video and it starts out like, just want to let you guys know this is a sponsored video with Maybelline, but I completely love their products. I trust the products, so nothing to be afraid of. You shouldn't have to justify yourself in a sponsored video. Your viewers should know that you're being totally honest. And, you know, I could sit here all day and be like, oh my gosh, this product is amazing. This product is awesome. I love this product. Why do you love that product? Why are you using that product? What do you want to convey to your viewers that lets them know that this is a genuine product that, or company that you honestly love and that you're just not talking about to get paid for? So that is basically my spiel on sponsored videos. And you know, I do, it's like 50-50. There are some really crappy sponsored videos out there and you're like, you're just doing this for the money, okay? And then there's some that are like, dang, like that was a good video. Even though it was sponsored, like that was good. Someone asked how much you get paid for a sponsored video, and that is totally dependent on the company. That is depending on your subscriber count. That is just because you could have, you know, 700,000 subscribers, but if your interaction rate with your subscribers is not good, so for example, if someone had 700,000 subscribers, but they're only getting, you know, like 100 comments on their video, that lets a brand know that the influencer is not interacting with their subscribers. They don't engage with their subscribers and they don't really have a relationship. So, you know, payment is totally going to vary. You know, there could be someone who has, you know, maybe just 100,000 subscribers, but they get, you know, hundreds of comments a day, you know, maybe like 500 comments on a video. And that lets, you know, brands know that these people are actually working with their subscribers. They're really interacting with them and their subscribers trust them. So payment is like totally, you never know. I mean, sometimes the budget for a brand could be like huge, and sometimes the budget for a brand may be smaller, and you know, that's what they're going to offer you. But most of the time they will base it off of your subscriber count, and they will look and see, you know, your engagement and how you interact with people and how much people trust you. So really quickly, I just want to talk to those of you who may already be content creators. If you're just starting out, or if you're thinking about starting out, and someone, you know, comes to you and offers you a sponsorship. Let me just say this. When I started YouTube, I don't know, I guess like three and a half years ago, that was kind of unheard of. You know, really the only people that were getting sponsorships were like your bigwigs, you know, people that had already reached, you know, almost 1 million subscribers and things like that. Now I feel like YouTube is such a huge platform, and especially for the beauty community, that more and more brands are coming, and more people, you know, aren't just looking for the people who have, you know, 1 million subscribers or over 600,000 subscribers, you know, that type of thing. There are brands who are looking for smaller audiences and more targeted audiences. So there could be a chance that you may only have, you know, a couple thousand subscribers, and a brand comes to you and is like, you know, hey, we'll pay you $100 to talk about this product. The best way that I can describe that is, I've been there, I know that feeling. I was a college student and I basically, you know, worked 25, 30 hours a week, and that's all I got paid, and $100 at the time seemed like a lot. And I still get offers now for money that I'm like, okay, that's a lot of money and that could pay this, you know, for the month, but it's not something that would even relate to you guys, and it's not something that I would even be willing to talk about. So the best way I can describe it to you is, what is more important to you? A quick buck or your actual credibility that's going to last on YouTube? So, you know, if you're serious about growing your channel and, you know, working more on YouTube and having opportunities to work with brands, whenever a brand, let's say like, you know, you do start gaining subscribers, and then, you know, a really big company like, I don't know, Revlon may be thinking about working with you. They more than likely will go through your videos and start looking at your videos, and then they go back and see you did a sponsored video with some brand like for a freaking toenail file. You know, like, it's not credible, and you need to really think about what is important to you. And for me, that is credibility. I want to be seen as an honest person. I want to be seen as a genuine person, and I have made mistakes in the past. I have done, you know, sponsored blog posts back in the day that I'm like, dear Lord, like, what was I thinking? And, you know, it's just something you have to learn. So, quick rundown. Sponsored videos are only when you get paid to do a video from a brand or from a company. My views on sponsored videos, I am totally okay if you are doing them right and if you are doing them for the right reason. I don't see why someone shouldn't get paid for doing things that they like and for talking about things that they like. But if you're just, you know, sitting back trying to roll in a quick buck and you're talking about, you know, something stupid that's irrelevant, then no. And lastly, if you are considering a sponsored opportunity or if you are looking into starting YouTube, which completely blows my mind because like I said, when I started YouTube, I had no clue you could even get paid for doing anything. I just wanted to, like, you know, do my makeup on camera and have people, you know, impressed with like my highlight and my blush. And actually, you know what? Highlighter really wasn't a thing when I started YouTube, so never mind. Anyways, if you are thinking about it, just, you know, think of if it is a brand that you would personally use and that you would actually like. And if you did use it and you didn't like it, don't be afraid to tell that company or that network, hey, this did not work out for me and I just don't feel comfortable talking about it. Because in the long run, that company, if they don't come back to you because you were honest, then they weren't worth your time anyways. But more than likely, if it is a credible network or it is a credible company, they will respect your opinion and they will respect your feedback. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this topic video. I think I covered everything that was like boggling around in my mind. But if you have any questions about sponsorships and things like that, let me know in the comments down below. Like I said, don't care to talk about it. It's a thing, it's happening. YouTube is a huge platform now, and it's going to continue to grow. So the way people get paid now aren't going to be really like the traditional days where you're working a 9-to-5 job. There are several different ways to get paid, and you know, that's just how things are evolving. So I wanted to definitely touch on that. And if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave them down below. And I hope this helped. I hope, you know, that you guys like this. I don't know. Hopefully you did. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Maybe you'll watch my next video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.